Good early afternoon, guys. This morning, I wanted to talk to you about something that's been on my heart for a while. And I'm not really in a position to be on camera right now, so I've been spending the morning videoing the girls, watching their TV show of the guy from Australia that has all these dogs on his farm, and they have a school bus and they swim and they do all the things. So I was hoping that I could just talk to you in the background about something that's really been bothering me for a while, and I feel like it needs to be addressed. So I've been seeing a lot of stuff online from groomers, and I knew that this was a little bit of a thing. I didn't realize how much it's vocalized until I got on TikTok. And I've been on there because I'm trying to teach myself how to groom my dogs the best that I can. I had a license to do hair for years, so I kind of know the concept of hair cutting, even though it's a whole different thing from dog grooming. But anyway, I'm just teaching myself by watching other groomers. That's how you learn how to do hair. You get in there and you practice. You learn the book part of it, and you go out there and you take a test and you get your license. So I'm not anti-groomer necessarily, but what I hate is how some groomers are contributing to doodle hate. And I definitely get where they're coming from. They gripe because about every doodle they see is either doesn't behave. This is what they say anyway. It doesn't behave, or it is matted, or some owner gets mad at them because they shaped the dog because it was matted. Every one of those scenarios, I can definitely sympathize with the groomer's side of it. The groomers will say, they don't understand why these doodle breeders don't educate the puppy buyers on hair care, emphasize the care of the coat of a doodle. Now, I want to say here, I'm just addressing Golden Doodles. I am not a fan of getting any old type of dog that you want to mix with a poodle. And the reason I'm like that is because some dogs are just too big to be breeding a poodle with. And they shouldn't expect a mom to pass puppies that size, I've had people to offer to breed my girls with a certain kind of dog that's huge. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to do the Golden Doodles. But that's off to the side subject here. Groomers should not be saying on camera every day about how they hate doing Golden Doodles and they're not going to do them anymore, which is their right. But then they turn around and the next day you see them on there grooming Golden Doodles. They're just in a bad mood, so they start complaining about Golden Doodles and they make people feel bad toward them. And some people that just hate doodles will say, well, I don't think they should be that expensive. Well, I'm going to address that. I've got over $20,000 invested in those two girls, Paris and Bougie, because I want to be able to halfway predict to the people that buy the puppies whether they'll shed or not, or whether they're going to have curly or wavy hair or not, and so on. And the only way to know that is through DNA testing, and then that's not 100% foolproof, but it's a lot better than guessing at it. And then the people are not happy with what they get, and they get rid of the dog, or they put the dog in a shelter and it's euthanized or whatever. I don't know if I can live with that. And this whole thing is causing me to even rethink breeding my girls this November. And I know I'm going to eventually, and I might do it this November. It's going to depend on the interest the people's interest of the litter. And I'll address that once I know what their OFA testing comes out to be. But I don't want to produce a litter of puppies that people don't really want, and the market is so flooded and people are selling them so cheap because they only got into it to make a few bucks. And I can appreciate getting a deal on something, but they're getting to sell them cheap because they're not investing any money in the puppies, in the moms. And I have done that. And if that's not of value to people right now, I may hold off on breeding my girls because I want to be an ethical breeder and I want to know what I have and what people are buying so that they don't hate their dog because it doesn't have curly enough hair or straight enough hair, or there's no hair on its legs and its body's got hair, or it sheds profusely and they never knew because they did not check the parents' DNA. And also the temperament. You can kind of tell by the parents' temperament about what you're going to have. And if you're going to breed a doodle and they don't have a good temperament, you shouldn't breed them at all. Now, Roxy was fixed before we ever even thought about breeding a dog. We just always had our dogs fixed. But I decided at some point in life that I wanted to challenge myself to see what kind of a dog that I could come up with as far as quality, how well of a I don't know how to put that, how well I could do on that doodle quality. And that's why I've spent all this money. And we go to the vet all the time and we do all the newest things like wormer shots instead of wormer chews for heartworms, and we just try everything new and we do everything for them because we want our dogs to be healthy and we want the puppies that they produce to be healthy. Okay, so the doodle hate is what I wanted to address. I feel like the groomers are getting in a mood and complaining loudly online to the point that it really hurts my feelings. It's like they're talking about my children, And so I want to address the doodle owners now. If you're going to get a doodle, please brush and comb that dog. Do it every day. If you don't have time, I understand, but designate someone in the family or someone outside the family that does have time to brush the entire dog and comb through its hair if you're going to have it to have hair. If you're not going to shave it. Because the dog's going to suffer because of it. Not only is its body going to be miserable, but it's going to be miserable when it goes to the groomer. Because every groomer is not going to stand there and sweet talk your dog through dematting, which is very painful. And they're not going to do anything but shave it down. And if they do, then you should not complain if they do, because you have to make sure these dogs are brushed. You make sure they are combed. And what you do, just take a section, a fourth of the dog a day if you have to. And please just brush through that little section, like the shoulder quarter in the head. Just do that and just brush it out with a slicker brush and then comb it. All of my videos, there's a place, if you look, I don't know even, I'm not going to put the link in there, but you can tell what a slicker brush is and what a comb is for dogs. And if you don't know, go Google it on Amazon, search it on Amazon. Please, please, please do coat maintenance. If you're not going to be able to do that, please don't get a Golden Doodle. I'm not going to speak for other doodles because I don't have them. Please do that. Please make sure their ears are clean. Every groomer doesn't clean ears. But anyway, I've watched many, many, many groomers on TikTok and YouTube to learn. And when I saw these two particulars, one woman stood there and griped and complained, was mad, was angry, because she doesn't make enough money to fool with that job. And she was not liking her dogs that she was working on. I mean, on a live broadcast. And I just unfollowed her, blocked her, because I can't stand watching it. And then there was another guy that I really liked. He's a military veteran. And he spent the day, saying, I hate doodles because the owners don't do what they should do. And these dogs don't behave a lot of times because they're untrainable. That's a lie. My dogs are trainable. People that groom dogs, that does not mean necessarily that they know how to deal with dogs. They don't. They're just a groomer. And unless they make an effort and they're not burnt out on their job, that's what you're going to get. And I also have said before, on Rover's Makeover, on YouTube, that girl said that she hid a camera in her shop, and 95% of the people she hired, when left alone with a dog, abused it. And she would fire the people. Now, that's a lot. So consider all of this when you do get a doodle and you love that dog like a child, and then you take it to somebody and drop it off, and that dog's at their mercy. Don't let them have a reason to hate your dog. Train it from an early age to be groomed. Take it in there young. Take it every 4 to 6 weeks. If you can't afford that, invest in groomer tools and just do it yourself. And they're going to have horrible haircuts until you do that, until you learn. But Roxy had terrible, terrible haircuts. But for the first 4 years of her life, she never ever saw a groomer. I did her hair, and it was awful. But I learned. She's my red doodle right there. Now I have a groomer tub. I have all the tools I need. I just showed previously, a little earlier in this video, all the things that I have. I have spare blades. I have 2 different kind of very expensive groomer clippers so they work well. I have blade coolant. I have everything you could possibly ever need. Doggy blow dryer. Just everything. And I didn't get it all at one time because it's pricey. But before I got the groomer tub, I actually would put them in my shower with me and shower them, take them out, brush their hair, blow dry them. No, they don't like it. And no, they don't. That's one thing I need to order still is a happy hoodie to cover their ears up because they don't like the sound of the blow dryer and they'll argue and fight with me. So I hold their head up against my chest and hold their ears down so they can't hear it. But when I get through this video, I am going to order them a happy hoodie. So brushing and combing, I've kind of covered, but brush your dog and then comb it. If the comb is hanging up in a mat, it's matted. If it's hanging up because your dog's hair is really long, just kind of look down in there to their skin. And if it's not matted, it's okay. It's just their hair's thick. Some groomers are going to tell you that your dog was matted before when you pick it up and they shaved it. And I have seen where that was not true. So what I would recommend you do is video your dog before you take it. Just take your phone and video it. Show yourself combing your comb through the dog's hair. I have done this because something happened to us one time and that woman said, "Did you video your dog? Do you have any proof of that?" I said, "Actually, I do because I have a YouTube channel for him." And buddy, after that, it wasn't a problem. But this is not why I started grooming my own dogs. I know I've got 3 Golden Doodles. It's very expensive to do. And if I can train myself to do it, I'm not only going to do my own dogs, I'm going to do other people's dogs. Because I'm a kind person. I'm a patient person. And I definitely am patient with dogs. And I know dogs. And I want to be helpful in that area. So that I'm covering that. I showed the tools, so look back in the video if you didn't see the tools that I have in my grooming tub and my on-demand water heater, which was not that expensive. The grooming tub on Amazon was like $1,200 and something. My husband slapped it together in probably an hour or 2 and so on. And when I get ready to bathe the dogs, I turn on the on-demand water heater. It's hooked up to a water hose. It's on my back deck. Voila, we do this and it works out great. If I didn't have that before that, I would actually take them to a store like 20 miles from here that had a dog wash inside of it, and it was very clean. You could do that. Also, before you take your dog to the groomer, exercise it. That way the groomers won't hate the dog. Wear your dog out. Let it get out and run or take it for a good walk and let it get its exercise out. And then when you take them in, when they spend the whole day in the crate before and after their groom, they're not going to be stir crazy from being locked up all day. And I don't know. I just hate the way these groomers are more and more and more talking about how they hate doodles and they're not going to do a doodle anymore. And then the next time you turn around, they're doing them. But it's going to cost you way more money if your dog is matted. Check behind their ears with that comb. If you find a little mat in there, just get some scissors and snip it out. Same thing with their front armpits. That's the 2 places that they mostly will mat. Also their tail. If you like their tail long, and I do, their tail can get matted. Now that happened to Boo a while back, and I had to, I cut her tail short myself. Didn't shave it, but I did cut it short, and now it's starting to nicely grow back out. Now, if I can't, I'm trying to talk fast because I know I'm going to run out of video, but if I can't keep up with my dogs grooming and I can't get them to where they look beautiful, which I have to say right now they're all sporting a groom that I did on them. They don't look that bad. They don't look as good as they did when Casey did it, but they look good. And if I can get, or if I don't get it, eventually to look beautiful, because I love them to look beautiful when I take them anywhere or when people see them, I want them perfect actually, then I'll take them back to the groomer and I'll just let them do it. But or maybe every other time. But this video is about how groomers are more and more and more complaining about people getting doodles, every kind of doodle, but I'm just addressing mine, and they complain about them. And they complain that they don't behave, and they complain that they are matted. Both things the owner should take care of at an early age, and it's not too late if you haven't. Just be consistent to take them every 4 to 6 weeks if you want them to have hair. If you don't, every time you take them in there, tell them to shave them down. But don't let them get super matted where it costs you $200 or $300 to get them groomed. I didn't have to pay a really, really high price to get all 3 of mine groomed. I mean, we tipped the groomer every time, and I think we paid about $80 a piece, and I feel like that price was going to go up. But for 3 dogs and in one day and a tip, that's a lot of money. So my groomer tools paid for themselves real quick. And I've got videos on my channel of the kind of clippers to get. I use the Artero HIT cordless clipper with an extra battery. It was about $365 on Amazon. But I got that because I wanted the best clipper I could get for them so they don't suffer standing there waiting on me to clip their hair and unstop the hair out of the clippers and all that. You know, it's a lot, and I probably should do some videos and show you what I'm talking about, like in little stages, so you don't have such a long video to watch. But the complaining that the groomers are doing, they are absolutely right, what they're saying. I figure it's probably more so at some areas. They're getting more dogs like that than they do in my area because it's a smaller population of people. But the way they talk, every doodle they see is horrible, and I know that's not true because mine wasn't horrible. Now, Bougie got to where she hated to have her tail touched. And she was actually starting to kind of flip around on me and grab my hand. Now, she never bit me, but she didn't like it. And she's never, ever showed aggression. That's the kindest one of my 3. So I don't know if she had... got her tail got sore one of the times before it got matted, and I didn't know, and I made it more sore brushing on it, didn't know it was matted, and it made her start getting like that. I don't know what happened. But if the dogs turn like that, you've got to work with them and take them out of it. So just start today getting them used to the sounds of clippers. If you've got a puppy, get them used to the sound of clippers, the sound of a Dremel tool, the sound of other dogs barking. If you don't have any other dogs, turn on a barking channel of dogs and let them lay and listen to that. When they're taking a nap, let them listen to dog soothing nap music. I did that. When I raise a litter of puppies, if I do, that's what I will do. I will train those puppies to be what I'm wanting you guys to do for your dog before they leave this house. But like I said, I'm starting to rethink even breeding them because I don't know. I'm thinking, why are these dogs being produced and people get them and they don't have time for them or they don't make the effort? When you get a doodle, you may have to take that dog to a daycare so it's not so lonely all day until it gets grown. After it's grown, it's going to be okay. But here's the thing. Golden Doodles are really seriously goofy, silly, loving, awesome dogs. Whatever these doodle haters are saying online about them, they're just not telling the truth. I've got 3 of them, and they are like giant house cats. They are precious. I mean, I've just never seen anything like it. They are so loving, and they want to please you. The only thing they do when they're all in a group, they want to play and not listen. So you'll have to train them. If you got more than one, train them to be a little bit more, like individually trained, one-on-one work, so that they know to listen to you. But, people have told online, you can't train them. They don't listen. They can't, they won't do anything. Our dogs sit, stay, lay down, speak, shake. They sit and hold your hand all the time like another person would do, or a kid. They want to hold your hand all the time. They want to be touched. Yeah, people say, well, they're just needy, and they are like that. If you don't want a dog that you want to love on a lot, don't get it. So that's part of the doodle hate that I wanted to address as far as people that don't know doodles are online saying things about them. People say things about doodles. They gripe because they're expensive. They don't know why they're so expensive. They call them a mutt. Yes, they are a mixed breed, which is a mutt. My dogs are certified mixed breed through KC because they are so much of a percentage of golden retriever and so much of a percentage of poodle. That's what they are. If you want them to be lower shedding, they're going to be part golden doodle, part poodle. And their DNA testing speaks to that. All three of mine are low shedding. Paris sheds a little tiny bit. I mean, a little bit. Bougie, you can brush her. I've got videos where I've brushed her, and the hair is not in the comb. She does not shed hardly at all. Like, it comes out of the comb the size of a dime. If you brush her every day, there's no hair. Paris has more. Hers is about the size of a quarter. If you don't brush her every day, if you do, you barely get any hair. Roxy is the same way. She's got more poodle in her than they do, but she's not going to have puppies. So the doodle hate is mostly a lie of people that gripe about doodles. And also, they're expensive if you spend money on them. There were people in the past spending money to raise, or not spending money to raise golden doodles because they saw that dollar sign and they was like, oh, I'm going to make a quick buck. I'm going to breed this dog and have all this litter of puppies and make a killing and move on about my day. Don't buy a dog from that. I got in trouble with, or got yelled at kind of, when I bought that last puppy that I was going to use for the mail in my group. He didn't have a tail, and that breeder was the same one I had bought Roxy from years ago. She got mad at me. She started bad-mouthing me all over town, and when I checked on a doodle puppy, I asked the lady, do you health test your puppies? She sent me a big, long reply. She had already been contacted by that woman, and she told me about, well, I was nothing but a drama queen, and I caused drama, basically, and I was not a very good home, and all this stuff because this puppy didn't have a tail, and so on. And she didn't want to sell me one of her puppies because she didn't need the drama. So she was basically getting on the side of the other woman to appease her. And I didn't want to end up buying a puppy from her anyway because she said in her message, and I have it still, I don't breed these dogs to make money. I breed them I sell them just for family pets. And that's exactly what you don't want. You want golden doodles that you know if they shed or not, if that's important to you. You want to know how they behave if that's important to you. You want to know what they are if that's important to you. They could have a vicious dog in their background. You know, you don't know. But if you embark test them, they narrow down and tell you within tenths of a percent what's in them. You know, so that's why that lady, bless her heart, she didn't know what she was saying. But that's what I did not want. I didn't even answer her. I just said, God bless you, or something like that. I said, have a blessed day. Didn't even answer her because she answered my question, jumping all over me with these puppies she couldn't sell. I'd seen them online for a while. And the lady that I got that one with no tail from, she don't health test hers either. And if I would have wanted just a pet, I would have bought him because Roxy turned out to be a really good dog. Even though she's more aggressive than the other doodles. I probably wouldn't have wanted to breed her because she's got this poodle thing about her. When you start walking fast across the yard, she'll start nipping your elbows and jumping and jumping and jumping. That's the way poodles do. And you don't want to breed that. If you know they're going to do that, you don't want to breed that. If your adult dogs don't act right, you should not breed them. That's why doodles are more expensive. That's why people want to hate doodles and they get online and talk about them like they do. Because there's a whole lot more people breeding these dogs that shouldn't be doing it without testing them and without knowing them. So there's that. And if you're still watching me, I really cannot emphasize to you enough. Don't buy a dog if a breeder's willing to come down on the price greatly and they don't seem to have a good reason for doing it just to get rid of talk them into doing it cheaper. You should not do it. You should not do it because they've not tested them. And if you're okay with getting whatever kind of dog and hoping that it's good but not knowing it's going to be within reason, and it's not been vet tested and health tested and embark tested and on till you know what you're getting, if that's not important to you, then go for it. Do what you got to do. But please don't fill up the shelters with these dogs because these dogs have feelings. and they're living beings, and they deserve better. You know, very few dogs should be euthanized because of behavior. Very few. Most of the time, people have failed them. And the way I've always done it, I mean, I've had 3 different sets of dogs in my life, and I'm old, and I never get rid of them. Only time I ever got rid of a dog was when I was maybe in my early 20s, and that dog killed my turkey and was wallowing around in its blood. It loved it. And that dog was one they had found in the wild. And I did euthanize it because I felt like it was not a good animal if it was going to do that. It was enjoying that blood and rolling around in it. And that my turkey was still alive. He was just a pet turkey, and he was still alive and shivering and in shock because that dog had done that. And, but usually dogs don't need to be euthanized. So if you're wondering why they're so expensive, that's why. And an expensive mutt that they want to call them has been trained. It's been looked into behavior-wise, shedding-wise, breed-wise, wavy coat, long coat, short coat. All that has been tested, and it's in the testing. Still, it's not 100% accurate, but it's highly accurate. So that was one of the things I wanted to address. I get on Reddit, and I see these people writing this false information, and it just drives me crazy. But, if you don't want your breeder to fire you, please, please, please brush your doodles. Comb them after they're brushed. Don't bathe them too often, but don't not bathe them. If you find a little bitty mat, that's going to happen. Just get a pair of scissors and be careful where you're snipping and take that out. And make noise around your dogs, like clipper noises. If you don't have that, run a blow dryer. Do things to get them used to noise if you've adopted it, let's say, or something, and it's already grown. But if it's a puppy, just take it to the groomer at a young age and let it learn how to be at the groomer, and it'll be okay. And no, Golden Doodles are generally not aggressive. They're generally very calm, very tame, very loving dogs, and they can be trained 100%. You just have to make them listen. If you've got more than one, separate them if they don't listen. If they're playing too much, mine are litter mates. Those two will wrestle and never give anybody any thought. They just keep going. So we had to separate them to train them. And it worked fine. They all learned how to sit, stay, lay down, speak, all the stuff they do within 20 minutes of training total. They're smart. Mine talk. They say things. They're on my videos. You'll have to go back and look because there's so many videos where they're saying I love you and hi. When they get home, they'll say hi. Why? Because I just do that. And I said that to them, and that's how they say it. Paris and Roxy, when they start going at each other, like getting a little bit jealous of each other, they'll start saying, why love you? Why love you? Like that. They talk. I wish I could think up more things to teach them. They fetch. They catch a frisbee. They do a lot of things. Doodles are not stupid. They're not dumb. They're not untrainable. That's all lies. So, please don't just believe everything you see online. And if you're going to buy a Golden Doodle, ask, number one, has this dog been breed tested? Do you know what breeds it actually is? Ask them if it is health tested through Embark, so you'll know any diseases it may have. If it has not been, ask if the parents have been, because likely the parents will throw what the puppy's going to be. Now, if there's something in there they wanted to breed out, one parent should not have anything and one parent might, but it'll take it out, the puppies usually. If you're even curious then and they have not health tested the puppies, ask them, can I have a saliva test from the puppy? And you'll have to pay for it, but you'll know what you're getting anyway. And, do that. If you've already got a puppy, have it health tested. If you're going to breed it, have it breed and health tested before you breed it. Don't produce a bunch of puppies that people are generally not going to want, and they're going to drop them off at a shelter. And, I saw one on Craigslist the other day. The people said, oh, this dog's grown, and it's going to be matted. You're going to have to take it to a groomer because it's been living outside with the outside dogs. And it's super matted. And I thought, wow, They just get a dog, they decide they don't want it, and they throw it outside, and they don't care. Can you not clipper a dog that just because it lives outside? I mean, honestly, can you not do that? That says to me, I don't want this dog, I don't care about this dog, and I'm throwing it out, whatever happens. Most breeders will take back a dog if you feel like you've made a mistake. If you cannot rectify the mistake you've made when you got this puppy, most of the time the breeders will take the dog back. Try that before you just take it to a shelter or give it to somebody that probably don't want it either. But if you spend the time with a Golden Doodle, you're never going to regret getting it, and you'll have it its whole life. So, one other thing, if you see someone saying something negative toward a Golden Doodle and you know that to be wrong, please kind of speak up for that dog a little bit in the comments section so that, of whatever you're watching, so that there's not just bad stuff being said about them. If you see dogs online being given away, at will and randomly and not taken care of, report that ad to whatever social media you're on so they'll take it down. I don't want people getting dogs that are already not taken care of that don't need one. And, that may not be my business, but that's one of my pet peeves. So, I mean, if you think that you will ever want a Golden Doodle, comment that in the comment section, and just be kind. Don't be hateful about Golden Doodles, especially if you don't know what you're talking about. I blocked a few people that tried to tell me they're not trainable and you're just going to breed more dogs and nobody wants and all that. They don't know what I'm doing. They don't know anything about me. I am doing everything ethically, and anybody that knows what I'm doing will tell you that. Their vet's office will tell you that. The groomer they were going to will tell you that. I mean, I'm probably annoying to them. I'm so picky. And anybody that knows me knows that. So I just wanted to address this doodle hate among groomers and among people that own the dogs causing it. Not everybody's doing that. I've seen many, many, many good people that brush their doodles and comb their doodles. And brushing is not enough. You got to comb them too. And then bathe them and take them in there. I bathed my doodles the night before I would take them to the groomer so they weren't dirty. That's what I did because I didn't want to give anybody any excuse to hate my dogs. So, there's that. But Casey does good with my dogs usually, has no complaints. If you can find somebody like that, just do your part and you'll have a real good relationship. But take up for these dogs. And forgive me for using some old footage in this video because I didn't have time today to really film a half an hour worth of video because my son, I don't know if I've ever told you, but my oldest son is in kidney failure and he's waiting for a transplant, and I'm trying desperately to find him a kidney to get a transplant. There's nobody else in the family that can give him one that will. And I've had cancer in the past. They're really picky about who can donate kidneys. My husband tried. He had other stuff. They wouldn't let him do it. My other son's a diabetic. So I've been in the hospital with my son watching him get his heart stopped and restarted, and he's young. And he needs a kidney. And so I've been a little bit busy with that and hadn't had time. And I am busy with him. When he goes in the hospital for something, I go with him because his girlfriend is a physician's assistant and she has to work and she cannot be there. And I don't want him alone. So I take time to do it. And I drive a school bus so I can have time to be there for my son. So if anybody's got a kidney laying around out there they wouldn't mind to share with a type O person, that would be amazing. My son is a riverboat captain, but he cannot work without his health being like it should be. He's on dialysis, I think almost the maximum that you have to be on it. He still tries to live his life every day and mow his yard and do things, but, his life's hard. And I want to make his life easier. So, but if there's anybody out there considering donating, I will just say this. There have been people in the past that have offered to do it and then they back out. So don't ever offer to do something that important for someone and then not be able to follow through with it emotionally. Really know what you're doing before you try try to do it, okay? Because it's just too hard to go through that heartbreak. But if you're really willing to do it, that'd be great. So I guess I'm going to let this video be it. Always please just help out with the doodle hate. Help to combat the misinformation out there and the doodle haters. Help to send a good brushed, clean doodle to a groomer so that groomers don't refuse to groom them. And at the very end of it, if you want to do it yourself, do it. You'll eventually get it. It's not really that hard once you watch enough videos. It's physically hard. It takes me about 3 hours per dog. So I do 1 dog per day. But it's not really that difficult to learn, and you'll figure it out. So you guys have a blessed day. And forgive me again for some of this end of this footage being already, footage that I may have used part of, but not all of. And I will see you guys on the next one. So be blessed. Pray for my son to get a kidney. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye. So the following pictures are going to show Roxy just after I groomed her. You can see how smooth her hair looks. It's not shaved. She's laying there looking out the gate.
Hi, baby.
Watching life go by.
So cute.
There's Boo. I don't think I groomed her yet. This is just a compilation of my girls. Enjoy.